Okay, my friends, you know the deal. By the way, if you're not used to the look, we spiced up things a little bit. We got some cool color stuff going on. You're gonna see some cool lower thirds going on. I am full of coffee and I'm in a good mood, and I want to put you in a good mood. So, as Brian said on YouTube chat, let's go, everyone. We'll see you in about 4 minutes. Showtime. Pop, pop, it's showtime, showtime. Guess who's back again? It's your boy, Patrick Allman. And I've got people. Wow, this is the first time. Brian, that was the first time, man. Brian and Jerry, those are the first times that people have commented before the shows even started. So I really do appreciate you guys. I really, really do. And you know what? Let's just get this started off right away. There we go. Every single Kevin, my man. Before there was Facebook, before there was live streams, there was Kevin. Kevin and I sweating it out, doing that CrossFit thing. Hey everybody, Brian, Jerry, Kevin, Brian, dude, I wish I had a prize for you. That's the first time, and Jerry too. It's the first time anyone's ever commented like before I've started talking. So man, I appreciate both of you, and I always got much love for Kevin, even though I don't see him anymore because he doesn't love me. That's why I don't see Kevin anymore. I'm kidding, Kevin. I can't unlove you, brother. I cannot unlove you. Hello, everybody. Got to do the first time intro, right? It's Patrick Allman from the Stop Doing Nothing show. I am live coming to you from Oklahoma City. I usually got people tuning in from around the world. Not that I have an ego, not that I even needed my ego stroked, but you know what? It's just I love it when people just tune in from all over the places. Because sometimes, so for me, it's basically morning, right? For my buddy Kevin, who's in the same city as me, it's basically morning. But there's people who it's like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon and they're dragging. There are some people where it's like 11 o'clock at night that may be watching, and there are some people where it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. Also from Wichita. So yeah, Amy gets it. Amy's right here in the Central Time Zone with us. Amy and Kevin living right here in Tornado Alley. What kind of fools were we to decide to live in Tornado Alley? I don't know. Anyways, for you first time watchers, because I don't believe Brian and Jerry, you guys watching, I don't believe I've seen your name on a live stream before. So again, thank you very much for tuning in. What we do is we do a live show 3 days a week. It was 3 days a week, as Amy will attest to, because she's been watching, and then it was 2 days because school started, and I volunteered to school. But what I'm actually going to do is rearrange my volunteer time at the school so I can do this in the morning and maybe hang out with the kids like during recess and recess and lunchtime, because just mentoring kids and helping the elementary school kids get off to a right start is just a really big deal for me. It really matters a lot. So I don't want to give up that time on Friday, but maybe I can shift the time. I've been talking to the principal and those people about maybe shifting the time in the afternoon so we can still do Friday at 9 a.m. And then we can get back on schedule Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. Also, we got something new going on. If you guys are from the US, you may be able to do this from out of country also, and you want to get show alerts. I set up kind of a keyword trigger, and you're going to see it in the footer down here. But if you text show to the number 405-217-4752, I will start basically sending out like early show alerts to text messages, and I'll probably have bonuses and giveaways and stuff like that. But yeah, just text in show to 405-217-4752, and we will start hanging out there. Yeah, you know what? As long as I get up Monday, you always hear me again. You always hear me say it's a great week. We're gonna have a great week. You know what? It's not always a great week. It's only a great week. Only way we start a great week is if I get out of my ass at 5 o'clock, get off my butt, excuse me, at 5 o'clock in the morning and get out and do my morning walk, and I do everything I'm supposed to in a disciplined fashion. If you've heard me talk before, I will beat this dead horse all day long. Discipline and action solve so many problems. So this morning I crashed hard last night. Had a very busy weekend, which we're going to talk about. I crashed hard last night. It's one of those things where I had laid my head on the pillow, and then like 5 minutes later, 5 minutes later, it was 5 o'clock in the morning. So normally I drag my feet a little bit before I go out and do my walk, but I was out today. Got the 3 miles done early, so I'm 3/4 closed on the apple rings already. For you apple rings fanatics, I'm a 700-calorie kind of person, so 3/4 of my rings are already closed. So that's a good thing. And then I've just been really geared up to improve the quality of this show for you because I love training. So this weekend, if you look at this now, this is what's new about the show for those of you that kind of geek out on this stuff. The lower third right here is all brand new. I designed that originally. So that's kind of my logo over here. I'm trying to get this right. I got some brand colors on there. I got the border. I got the cool border going around, which is brand new. And then I found a way with these hue lights, which I love. If you look in the background, like my hue lights are on a slow color change. I feel like it's back in the 70s and got a mood thing going on. But again, I'm always trying to get up the quality of the show. So all these things this weekend, plus with what happened Saturday, which I'll tell you about, have just made it so yeah. Monday morning is in really good shape for all of us, and I hope it's in good shape for you too. As you know, if you've watched the show before, I weigh in on Sunday morning. Kevin might be interested in this. I weigh in on Sunday morning, and I've lost a couple more pounds. You know, like all things, I'm a big guy, and I'm muscular. I have no problem with that. I'm 6'2", probably 260 pounds. I'm muscular, but I think I could be a little bit trimmer. So I'm really amping up my aerobic work. Thank you, Amy. I appreciate that. I'm really trying to pay attention to that kind of stuff, and so I'm down a couple of pounds again. And if you watch a show for any period of time, yeah, I was on a big decline, and then that's what progress is, right? As long as the overall goal in life, whether it's to make money or to lose weight or whatever, as long as even if there's bumps on the road, as long as you're making consistent progress, you're good to go. So I haven't had a bump in a couple of weeks, so I'm still on the decline, which is very very cool. Um, let me see what else is going on. I've noticed. So I was experimenting with not doing coffee, and this is people for my coffee fans. You're gonna like this. I was experimenting with not doing coffee because I was trying to keep my liver really clean, but I've noticed that last week I did have a few more cups of coffee, and I still lost weight. So as while that may be one of the sliders, that's not a major slider. So this morning I was really craving a cup of coffee. I got it. One of my favorite cups from Coffee and Motivation. I have no association with them at all, but I just love the stuff that they put on their coffee cups. Mmm, coffee with I really my coffee purists are gonna hate me. I really why would that go away there? There we go. There we go. Okay. Um it's coffee and cream and sugar and some vanilla flavoring in there. So I really tear up the coffee cup there, but I'm feeling good. What else was going on this weekend? Oh, I'm pretty sure the weight loss is coming from my new routine where I'm doing 100 reps of every exercise. And that is, I've been on that routine for a couple of weeks now, and I've noticed I've actually had some comments about my physical changes over time, but that's something also that has allowed me. And again, my buddy Kevin here, who comes from comes from the world of CrossFit, will attest to this. It's if you do like a lot of reps and you work really hard, you can burn a lot of calories in a short period of time. So for those of you who may not have seen this on a previous show, what my standard routine is these days is I will pick two exercises. Friday. It was a bent over barbell row with 135 pounds on it and a tricep, what's called a skull crusher with your triceps, which is where you basically lay on a bench, kind of get a close grip, and you go down to your forehead. You know, this kind of thing right here, which is killer for this part of your body right there. I think I did that at 70 or 80 pounds. So I did 10 of the row, 10 of the skull crushers, back and forth, and 20 minutes. I swear, maybe 25 minutes. And I was soaking wet in sweat. I'm a sweater. I'm a warm guy anyways, but it was almost a little embarrassing because cool. Kevin's still watching. Yeah, I'm not at a CrossFit gym anymore. I'm at Anytime Fitness, and so Anytime Fitness has those rubber mats, and there was a puddle. There was a puddle. The bench was soaking wet. I was laying on, and there was the bent over row, Kevin. By the end of the bent over row, it was just a puddle. And normally I just wipe down the equipment because it's always a good habit. But I actually went and got some paper towels, and I was wiping up the big giant Patrick puddle. I mean, it deserves its own hashtag Patrick puddle. Those were really good things going on there. Really quick, an update before we get into the marketing stuff. And so again, for those of you who are watching for the first time, what I do is I cover some personal stuff. I'm interested in hearing your feedback. So if you have good news to share, do me a favor, please, and share it with me so we can celebrate you. I've got a special button. If you have a win, number one, you're going to get some applause. And number two, you can pick your choice. I'm going to give you possibly fireworks if you want that for your good news. I can always give you some balloons if you want that for your good news. But either way, I want to celebrate you, okay? I want to celebrate your wins because sometimes we have small minor wins that we keep inside and we don't want to put them on Facebook or we don't want to share them with people. You know, maybe you lost a pound this week. Maybe your credit score went up 10 points. Maybe you went on a first date with someone, you fell head over heels in love. I don't care what it is. Please make sure you share share your wins so we can definitely celebrate you, because I can guarantee you, I know all these people. Brian and Jerry are new, but I know Amy and I know Kevin. I know these people will definitely celebrate wins because they know how important small wins are. For those of you that are watching from for the marketing stuff that I talk about, that is mainly through a community I'm a part of called High Level CRM. But we have we have all kinds of good stuff going on in the marketing world. But if you are in that world where you use that product, High Level CRM, we're having a contest coming up, which is pretty cool. We're going to be doing like head-to-head snapshot builds with a buddy of mine I met on Facebook. So if you're interested in the high level CRM, or if you know somebody who needs a really good tool for digital marketing, this is very few areas where I blatantly plug. I call it my Playmakers platform, but it's our white label version of high level CRM, and I give it to you at a very reasonable price. And you just put your leads in there, and your websites in there, and your funnels in there, and you manage your social media in there, and then you manage your text messaging in there. So at the bottom here where it says text in show to 405-217-4752, that's going inside my CRM. This weekend, the trade show, which I'm getting ready to talk about, I had a big sign there that said text in Metro, which is where the event was. Text in Metro to this, and they got on my email list, and I was able to text them things back automatically. So that's really what we're here to talk about is marketing. So let's get into it. So, the about a week ago, maybe a week and a half ago, I ran into I saw an ad. Goodness gracious, dang it! Advertising works. Imagine that. Who would have thought advertising works? Um, Especially paid advertising. So I saw an ad maybe a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, I don't know, for the Urban League here in Oklahoma City. And the Urban League was putting on an event at MetroTech. And for those of you who are familiar with Oklahoma City, it would be the MetroTech Spring Lake campus. So we're talking like over there on what, like Lincoln slash ML, not Lincoln, MLK, and like 36th area, maybe 63rd Street area. So, like I said, if you're in Oklahoma City, you know where that part of the city is. And I'm not a big trade show person these days. I've just done my share of trade shows, and they are a ton of work. Okay, the biggest trade show I ever did was the GSA trade show in Dallas, Texas, where I had a car full of stuff. We had to drive down there, and I paid several hundred, maybe thousands of dollars for the trade show booth, and I was one minor small booth in this massive warehouse. And I can't remember if I got any business off of it, but it was just a lot of work. And I've done some trade shows here in Oklahoma City. I've done some trade shows various other places, but I just remember they're a lot of work. So as far as return on investment, I have never considered that a very big return on investment, because I don't only count the fact that you have to pay for the booth and pay for the stuff to put in the booth. I also count my time. I also count other people's time, which is very expensive. And obviously, the physical toll will get on you also. If you've never worked a trade show booth, when you stand on your feet all day long, yes, your voice is going to get hoarse, but all of a sudden you're going to realize that you're going to sleep very well because you're just nonstop going. But that's neither here nor there. So I saw an ad for an event for the Urban League. The Urban League was putting on at MetroTech, and I checked. I click on ads all the time, and I clicked on it, walked through, and it said, "Oh, a booth is $125." So I thought, $125. It's here in the city. Maybe if I put together a very minimal presentation of some sort, I can make this work. So I reached out to Urban League. They said they didn't have any tables available, and then someone freed up and they said, "Oh, we do have tables available." This was a funny story. "We do have tables available." I replied back 5 minutes later saying, "I'll take the table." Then didn't hear anything from them. And then like a day or two later, replied back again. Didn't hear anything from them. Replied back again. And they said, "We don't have any more tables available. You never replied." And I sent them a screenshot. It's like, "Here's where you told me tables were available. Here is where I replied." It was 6 minutes. Feet and back crying, just hearing the worst trade show. Yeah, Kevin's been there. Let's get that on screen. Kevin is 100% right, man. I'm still feeling it in my knees, Kevin, because I was hustling. You would have been proud of me, man. I was hustling Saturday. But yeah, Saturday afternoon when we got home, I don't think I moved after I got my butt on the couch compared to when I went to bed Saturday. I was just hurting. So, anyways, I replied back to them. I said, "You said you had a booth," and I replied within 6 minutes, and they said they had given it away. Well, fortunately, they were nice enough. They either added a table or they found a way to get me a table. So I paid my 125. And then I asked them some questions like, "Can I bring a TV? Do you have power?" I asked them like big, like trade show questions because I've done big trade shows. Um, and and they said, "We don't think there'll be power. We don't really know much about the venue," which was a little bit disappointing, I'll admit. But hey, they were still very nice enough to let me have a table at the last minute. And I decided to basically, because it was short notice, when you do trade show stuff, you have to print materials, you have to get banners, you have to get all kinds of stuff. So a week or a few days is a very short notice. So I went with the KISS method. I kept it very, very simple. I thought I'm not going to bring my big trade show banners with the lights on them because I just don't. Those things are heavy to haul around. I'm not going to. I'm not going to get anything. Not going to get any like special pens or anything printed up because I've done that before with Walker Companies here in Oklahoma City. That's a very good company for trade show stuff. If you're here in Oklahoma City, I'm going to go with a very simple offer. And then what I'm also going to do is we brought candy, so we had candy to give out, and I have my Stop Doing Nothing bracelets. I don't have one here to show you because I sell those also. I think it's really cool Stop Doing Nothing bracelets. I said let's bring candy, let's bring pens. I'll whip up some quick demos of our software, of our CRM software, and we'll go with that. And then at the last minute, I was thinking, you know what? They said they don't have power, but what if they do? So I threw a monitor in the car. I threw a long extension cord in the car. Good idea. Trust me, that was a good idea. And we went there. And see, this was 9 o'clock on Saturday. Yeah, the thing started at 10, so it was 9. We got there like shortly after 9, and it was your typical trade show setup. It was actually Metro Tech is a college, so it was like a long hallway full of classrooms, and outside the classrooms were all the tables set up. We didn't get there right when they opened up the doors at 9 o'clock. So I'm not gonna. We didn't get like a prime table, but still, excuse me. Woo, but still, our table was in a pretty good position for traffic. Got set up. Turns out there was a power outlet 6 feet away. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. It was awesome. So got everything set up. Yada yada yada. Fast forward, trade show starts. My offer was, and this is an offer to anybody watching this also. My main offer was, my goal wasn't going to be to sell our software. My goal was to get people on a free webinar. And by the way, if you want to join it, it's going to be tomorrow. If you text in Metro to our number to 405 217 4752, if you text in Metro to 405 217 4752, it'll send you back the Zoom link, which you can register. So that was my main offer. So here's some of the lessons. So I'm getting someplace. Okay, I took a long way to get there, but I'm getting someplace. My whole goal today is I want to talk about some things I learned, some things that I wish I would have done differently at the trade show. So something I did learn was bringing the extension cord or bringing the monitor was a good idea because the worst thing that could happen is that could stay in the car, right? And I really was not looking forward to doing like demos on like my MacBook. It just wouldn't have been very good. Plus, it's not outward facing. I don't want people touching my shiz. Okay, do not touch my laptop. You can touch anything around me, just do not touch my laptop. That one's my pride and joy, as they say. I kept my booth set up very simple. That was another really good lesson that I'm very happy we did. We had black and white flyers. We had some standing up so you could read them, and then we had some laying down, which people could take away. And we printed them on we had some good cardstock paper. So we printed these black and white flyers on good cardstock paper. My main call to action, and this is for those of you that do trade shows in the future, this is what I want you to take away from this, okay? My main call to action was not to sell. My main call to action was, and I wish I had the flyer here nearby, was text in this to join this free webinar. Okay. As you know, in Trade Show Booze, you're always giving away free stuff to kind of hook them in, right? And so, so something else I did, which was different, is a lot of people who are not very salesy, and I used to be like this. When you get a trade show, what do you mean by awareness, Amy? There, I see that. Um, when you get a trade show booth, most people get the 6 foot table and then the 2 chairs behind. You put up all your stuff. You got the black skirting. I mean, you guys have been here. You've seen this before. And you sit behind there and you wait for people to walk up and talk to you. Okay. Please do not do that. Okay. Do not do that. Get on your feet. You are there to meet and greet and shake hands and kiss babies. So I spent very little time technically behind the booth. All my time was in front of the booth, standing up to talk to people as they walked up. So very simple, handshake. My name is Patrick. Who are you and what business are you in? Let's say informing the user. Oh, okay, Amy, I see what you're saying there. Let's get that on screen. That's a very good comment. So Amy says, I feel like so many at trade shows focus on the sale instead of informing the user. Oh man, you guys are freaking brilliant. I'll get your comment up there in a second, Kevin. So Kevin basically just put in the comments, which I'll put on the screen here pretty soon, is I paid money to be there. My goal is to generate interest, educate people, get them to join the webinar. Okay. I'm not going to be very good at doing that when I'm sitting behind the table. Okay. People will engage with you if you engage with them. People will be excited if you are excited to meet them, and people will shake your hand if you reach out to shake their hand. So almost every booth around me, I was very surprised, Kevin, to see this. Almost every booth around me, everybody was sitting behind the table. I really don't recall any other booths that I could see in the long hallway of people standing up and going forward in front of the table. But that's where I was most of the time. I made sure I wore comfortable shoes. Fortunately, we were on carpet. Fortunately, we were on carpet. And so all day long was shaking hands, and getting people. Here's my other lesson, okay? My opening line, my opening line on this, let's get this on the screen. Kevin put up a very good point. It creates a real barrier on top of the perceived one. It basically, and this is something that you're learning like negotiations and psychological things, even like meetings. When you go into a meeting with a client and you sit on the opposite side of them, and I've learned this the hard way, there's a barrier there. Man, Kevin, I did not know you knew about all this psychological stuff, man. Boy's smart and good looking, both. So the way I approach this is very much the way I approach my online marketing. In the online marketing world, everything is headlines, right? Everything is headlines. If you can't catch someone's attention in a line or two of text in online marketing, you don't want them, okay? And if you do catch them, then you want to get them further down your funnel. So when people would walk up, I would shake my hand, I would introduce myself, I would say, we have a tool here which will help get your business organized at a fraction of the cost that you're paying for all of your other tools combined. Would you like to hear more information? And some would say yes, some would say no, someone would say, tell me more. So the people that said, tell me more, those are the people I wanted to talk to. So I would I basically like dip my toes into my spiel is what I did, because I wanted to make little baby steps. And for the people that weren't interested, I'm like, okay, I get it, but we're having a free training. And so I would really push the free training. And here's something else I did differently. And I learned this from speaking on stage professionally. I'm a keynote speaker, so I've done my share of on stage speaking. And I've learned that you have to guide people, especially when it comes to something like text message marketing, which I'm huge into. And if you want me to set this up for you, let me know, because we do this. We do this. I like what Amy says right here. Yes, keep it simple. I use this method on billboards too. I didn't know you did billboard work, Amy. Cool. So what I did is I didn't just say, hey, look, we're having a webinar. You should register for that. I told them real time. I do this from stage too. I said, get out your phone right now, please, and text Metro into 405-217-4752. And I wasn't pushy about that. I was like, get out your phone, do it right now. Some people wanted to take a picture. I'm like, no, let's just do it right now. I said, it's really simple. It's one word to one number. That worked really well. I had a pretty good opt-in rate compared to the number of people I talked to. Yeah, some people did want to take a picture. They didn't want to do it real time. But to tell you the truth, in 2024, oftentimes people have their phone out anyways. People just walk around with their phone out. I have a big ass phone right here. It's never in my pocket. If I'm walking around, it's in my hand. Let's get Kevin's comment on the screen here. It creates a real barrier on top of the perceived one. We should teach a class on this. We could, man. We could teach a class out of Metro Tech, Kevin, where we could teach it. But I basically pushed people to register real time. And I said, get out your phone, and I guided them through it on their phone. And I've learned this when I'm on stage too. If I want someone to do a call to action when I'm on stage, I say, everyone get out your phone right now. And I wait. And I wait to see if a majority of people get out their phones. I don't put the information up on the screen for people to take a picture of it. I say, everyone get out your phones right now. Open up a new text message. Now, I don't always do this, but I remember I do this, okay? I'm not 100% perfect. And I guide them through doing it real time. And when I've done this before in an audience, I get between like a 40 to 60% opt-in rate, which means if I'm speaking to 100 people, I can usually get somewhere between 40 to 60 of them to opt in, okay? And then that's, I give them some kind of webinar or free training based on that right there. Oh, by the way, there's how you get the show alerts right there on the screen. 405-217-4752. Text in show. My cool automation will reply back. So this was my Saturday from 10 o'clock Central to 2 o'clock. I did this over and over and over. Had a really good basically opt-in rate, and then I have the webinar they're going to do on Tuesday. So my lessons from here are, number one, just kind of really keep your booth simple if you don't have a lot of time. Don't freak out. At some point in time, we were going to print color flyers. Didn't have time. Printed black and white flyers. Okay. I made the way for people to engage with us really simple. Handshake, quick headline, interested or not. Okay. Either way, why don't you text in this thing right here to join this free webinar? And now I have people registered for that Zoom link there. Now I'm still pushing them via reminders. But my goal with this whole thing was just to generate basic interest. Now, out of the people that opted in, I probably got 3 or 4 highly interested people. So something else I'm doing is I'm keeping track of my numbers. I didn't keep track of how many people visited the booth. Okay, that was something I didn't. I actually kind of got busy and I didn't have a chance to. But I did keep track of how many people obviously texted in and how many people are registered for Zoom. And there were some people that I know that were high intent leads that I marked also. So that was good. You just got to keep track of your numbers. Keeping track of your numbers is really, really important. Something else I learned, and for those of you who have done trade shows before, is you have to pay attention to people that are listening on the periphery that may be too shy to engage with you, or maybe your personality is a little bit overwhelming and they don't want to talk to you one-on-one, but they are interested. And I've learned this, I'm not going to say I've learned this the hard way, but I do know that I can be a little bit intimidating. I'm a big person. I'm physically a big person. And when I get talking, I have a big booming voice. I've been told constantly by my wife that I need to calm down, slow down, and lower your voice, Patrick. So I'm a big booming personality. So if there's somebody that wants more information about what we do, but they're afraid to confront me face to face because I'm going to come at them, then oftentimes people like that will listen to your presentation that you're giving to another person. That happened several times Saturday. So I was very careful to make sure that in those situations I was a little bit louder, but every now and then I would glance at that person. So I'm talking to 1 or 2 people in front of me, but if somebody was standing behind them, kind of leaning in, which did happen, I try to pay attention to that person too. It wasn't a presentation for them, but in a way it kind of, if that really makes sense right there. And so I'm just going through my lessons here. Yeah, I kept the booth set up very simple. Started with a very good headline. I didn't use the same headline all the time, and I didn't practice it. I don't do well practicing and scripting too much. Even this show, I don't do too well practicing and scripting too much. I've got a standard top to bottom agenda down here, but I copy this for every show and I make some notes. I've got less than 20 lines of notes. I can look at a headline and talk to you for 5 or 10 minutes, okay? So I did not script too much. I did make sure, though, that when I was talking to people, that I found out their name and their industry and their background, which I was then able to use in my presentation. So there was I remember there was one couple there that had a few things going on, but they had just bought 4 acres and they were going to set up a dog sanctuary. You dog people might love this. They were in the process of setting up a dog sanctuary, and not just a sanctuary for like abandoned dogs. They are specifically voted because she was a veteran and I'm a veteran. She was specifically focused on people who get deployed because we have to, Tinker Air Force Base here. They were focused on people who get deployed on short notice that want their animals taken care of. So maybe a single woman, a single man who has a dog they love, and they find out that they're getting deployed in a month, and they basically need like a long-term house sitter, a short notice long-term house sitter. So I thought, you talk about niching down on something. So they want to be a dog sitter for people that get deployed on their 4 acres. I mean, that's niching down. And they were just in the early throes of that. But I geared my entire presentation towards, well, you want to have a way for people to pay online. Our CRM lets you do that. You want to have a way for people to schedule time to come and visit the facility and meet their dog. Our CRM allows you to do that. You want to be able to, text them updates if they're overseas or email them updates. Our CRM does that. So I was basically kind of presenting our solution, our technical solution of data management and CRM and marketing and sales to them. I was like, you need a website? Our system lets you build a website, okay? If you're going to run ads, you need a landing page or a funnel. Our system does that also. So I presented that all in terms of the dog sanctuary. And I probably only got maybe 3 or 4 presentations where I got really in depth like that, where I was able to find out their industry and show them, giving them an example, and they would lean a little bit more like, oh, if that's a good idea, tell us more, tell us more. So I had a decent number of leads, but probably of all those leads, I'm going to say 10, 20, maybe 20% of those people, I was able to lean in and give a really good example of how our CRM and our systems and all that stuff could benefit them. And so those are the people who I think are the hotter prospects. And I try to take notes after they leave or get their business card to make sure I follow up them a little bit more. Follow up them with a little bit more inside of our CRM. So if you've got, it sounds like Amy and Kevin, you two have done your share of trade shows also. What other lessons have you learned here that we can share with people? Because trade shows can be intimidating. And I can tell that because not a lot of people in this world are outgoing. We know people are more afraid of public speaking than anything else in the world. I heard a joke once. It says people are more afraid of public speaking than of death, which means most people would rather be inside the coffin than the person giving the eulogy outside the coffin, okay? So I know that it can be hard at a trade show when there's a bunch of strangers talking to people, but you've got to get, like Kevin pointed out here. Let's get this back up on screen here. Which one was it, Kevin? Oh, we didn't put this up on screen yet. Stand up and don't stand behind the table. That one is so important. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw people at other booths who were sitting like I think there was a couple like down, yeah, like down 2 rows from me. I think there was like either a health insurance booth or a life insurance booth. But I could tell they were sitting behind the table watching the presentations I was giving. And I wanted to go over there and I wanted to go tell them, why don't the two of you stand up and get in front of your booth, right there. The worst thing that's going to happen is someone's going to say hi and move on. The best thing that's going to happen is you're going to get a sale or two. So let's see what Amy put up here. I want to, because Amy's brilliant. Let's get this on here. What did Amy say? I know my market was different, paper goods, but biggest for me was 20% offwards. Okay, so Amy gave a discount. Oh, I didn't even bring that up. Thank you, Amy. You triggered what I was giving. So my offer for people that were deeply interested, I didn't get any sales. I'll be the first to admit I didn't get any sales there, no problem. But my offer was, you get this whole package where we don't only give you the software, but we actually put leads into your software. And that package, I think I was giving out at $497 a month, and normally it's $497 a month plus a $197 setup fee. At the event, I was waiving that setup fee. So I was telling people, if you sign up before 1:30 today, I will waive this setup fee. Did I get any sales? No, not really worried about it. I got some really good leads, so I will get sales out of this. I will have no problem getting a ROI out of this, a return on my investment. Because basically I had $125. I had maybe a $20 or $30 trip to Dollar General store. I had my time and my wife's time there, but I will definitely get a return out of this. And there was something else. Oh, this is something else that's really important. And this is not only trade show stuff. This is your marketing in general. One of the most important metrics, and I really, really mean this. I'm not just fudging this around just for drama. It's really important for you to know where your business is coming from as into as much detail as possible. So what I did at this event is as people were texting in inside of our system, which does this, I'm eating my own dog food here. Inside of our system, I was giving each of these people a lead source. Okay. And a lead source inside your system just says where they come from. Did they come from a radio commercial? Did they come from an event on, August 24th? Where did your business come from? Because so inside my dashboard right now, I have everyone that came from this and their potential, their business revenue potential, and then another column which will be their business actual that we will close. So as I close these people, I'll very easily be able to do the math and say, we spent $125 and we made $6,000, or we spent $125 and we made $200. That is very easy to do when you have the right software in place, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, that lets you track stuff like lead sources. So if you're using another CRM, that's fine. I'm not going to beat this horse to dead, but just make sure you always have a way to track your traffic. And so I'm not going to get in the techie side of it, but basically inside of my CRM last week, I'm doing this. Let's do this because Amy's being pretty responsive here. I'm doing this at work to see where our overdose responses are coming from. Billboards, radios, printouts, magnets, bus wraps. Good, very, very good. And there are different ways to do this. But really quick, what I did, because I'm a big marketing automation fan, when people would text in Metro to the phone number, is it on the screen? Oh, it's not on the screen. Inside my CRM, I did several things. I marked their lead source as something unique for Saturday. I set them up as an opportunity with what I thought their future potential revenue was, and I instantly replied back with the Zoom link for tomorrow. And so all day long, when I didn't have people in front of me, I was on my phone. I could go on my phone or on my iPad or on my computer, and I could look and see how many leads I had real time. I didn't have to worry about tracking those leads like on paper. Okay, it was real time. As soon as you texted in, you were marked as a lead from the Metro Tech event from Saturday, and an opportunity was created. And I kicked off a bunch of other automation, and now my goal is to get them to the webinar and possibly follow up with some sales. So that's something that's really important. Amy put this on the screen right here. I'm doing this at work to see where overdose responses are coming from: billboards, radios, printouts, magnets, bus wraps. And sometimes it can be a little bit hard because you want to put your website on everything, okay? You want to put your website on everything. So all of a sudden, you get 100 visits to your website. Whoops, sorry about that. You get 100 visits to your website, and you have like no idea where they're coming from. So you have to get a little bit creative on here. Amy, I don't know how you're doing it. For me, oftentimes, I will do it with text messages. So I'll have people text in different messages. So for example, if you text in Metro, I mark you as a lead from the Metro Tech event. From the show, if you text in show, I'm going to mark you as a lead or as someone who came in from watching the live stream, okay? And then I can always go back and do the math to figure out my income from a particular lead source and my expense I spent on that lead source. So for example, my expenses for this show are the things I have bought in the past. I've got lights, I've got a laptop, I've got a Shure mic, I've got a camera, I've got all this stuff I've spent as expenses for this show. And those are like long-term expenses, okay? Those aren't flyers. Those aren't short-term expenses. Those are long-term expenses. The biggest expense right now is my time, okay? My time is, I have no problem sharing some of these numbers with you. My time is, I bill, if you need 2 hours of consulting time with Patrick, and that's all I do is 2-hour blocks, I'm going to charge you $1,500, okay? That's 100%. That's not making that up. I've got invoices to show that because people will actually pay that, okay? And that's not bragging. That's just, I want to make sure I really bring a lot of value to any conversation. So you could say that my time, theoretically, is worth $750 an hour, okay? So what that means is I have to kind of, as I'm doing my financials and tracking my expenses, I have to see overall time, is me doing this show 3 times a week worth the business I get from it, okay? Now, quick disclaimer, I don't expect this show to generate any business. All of this is just informational and educational. I don't but if I wanted to get that anal, when it came to tracking, your lead sources, that's how you would do it. If like so, Amy here has radio, billboards, radio, printouts, magnets, and bus wraps. I would, if I was Amy, I would try to make sure that I have a way to track each one of those lead sources. And how would I do it? Maybe one way is to have a different website for each one of those, and it just bounces people to your main websites. So let's say, Amy, I'm just gonna make up some stuff here off the top. Let's say Amy deals with, overdose responses. I'm not quite sure what that means, but let's say Amy deals with people who need help with overdoses. I'm assuming here. I may come up with different domain names with the word overdose in them, and I may use those domain names in different places, still pushing them to my main website. So maybe, overdose is, let's say, I use overdose therapy. So let's say my main domain name is overdose.com, okay? Then I may use overdosatherapy.com, and that may be the one I use on billboards, okay? And the overdosetherapy.com just bounces people over to overdose.com, but it sends what's called UTM information or lead source information over. So I know as soon as someone uses that domain, they get bounced over to my main domain, and I will have the tracking in place to know where that lead source came from. And I can do that same thing with radio, with printouts, with magnets, stuff like that, bus wraps like that. One of the things I could have done at the event Saturday is for the flyers, which I gave out. I didn't put a website on there, but I could have put a website on there. And what I could have done is bought a domain last week. Takes 30 seconds to buy a domain, if that, these days, and make that domain, put that domain on the flyer, and make that domain bounce people over to, my main website, again with the tracking information on the end. So let's say I'm just making this up. Let's say I bought, my website is websites.com. I could have bought metrowebsites.com because the event was at MetroTech, and metrowebsites.com just bounces people over to website.com with UTM tracking information on the end, okay? And there are going to be times where you cannot track all information, okay? I answer a lot of questions online when it comes to digital marketing and CRM management. And, the other day, somebody was asking, I want to tag and track the people who come from organic traffic. And I'm like, so organic traffic is just traffic that Google or Bing or whoever randomly sends you, right? And they go, yeah. And I'm like, you can't really track that. But what you can do is you can assume that's organic traffic if you track all of your other lead sources, okay? And so everything that's not from what Amy has up here, everything that's not from a billboard or a radio or a printout or a magnet or a bus wrap must be organic traffic, okay? Is it all organic traffic? Probably not, but don't fret over tracking it. Amy just put something else up here, which is really cool. Also, I didn't even think about this. And I could have done this Saturday too if I would have thought about it. We also do QR redirect tracking, like you said. So yeah, I could have done a QR code. That's something I probably could have even. A QR code, I think I would have done more of like a big giant poster behind me. But yeah, Amy's right. I could have done a QR code because our software now also does QR codes. There's my plug again. But even so, even like in Google Chrome, in the upper right hand corner is like a very simple QR code generator. And what Amy could do is if Amy puts a QR code on a printout, it could go to overdose.com, question mark UTM underscore campaign. What did I say? Oh, printout. Or it could go to overdose printout, and same thing with magnets and bus wraps especially. So yeah, QR codes are huge. Quick trivia fact: did you know that QR codes have nothing or did not originate anything having to do with digital marketing or cell phones or anything like that? QR codes were invented in car factories, and that's how they track car inventory, and when like the different assembly line stuff is put together, that's where QR codes are originated. But you know what? Marketers absorb and marketers ruin everything. So one day some marketer said, "Ooh, this would be cool. We should start using these in the general public." And then QR codes became huge outside of the auto manufacturing industry. But yeah, that's where QR codes came from right there. So Amy has a bunch of good ideas here. I always love it, Amy, when you're on the show because you always share all kinds of brilliance there. But Yeah, I did not know this. I've seen them come and go over my career. Yeah, they used to be huge, Amy, a while back. Um, and I've never there I do use them, and there are plenty of times I like to use them. But back in the day, when people were like, "Don't put your website on your flyer, put your QR code." I'm like, if your QR code is just going to redirect to your website, why wouldn't you just put it on there? But my attitude on QR codes has changed a little bit over time because because the what's that the tail we've gone into a tail wagging the dog situation. The cell phone manufacturers have made it so all the cameras have built-in QR code generators now, so it's very easy to use QR codes for lead generation, for getting people information, things like that. So before that, when people would this is probably when I was against it, is when you used to have to download a QR code reader app. And so if you're at like a trade show and you want someone to use your QR code, um, you always have to say, "Oh, go get this QR code reader app." Psh, that's a waste of time. And then open up the QR code. They have to teach them how to use this app, and they can scan your QR code. Okay, that to me seemed like way too many steps. But now that my iPhone has a built-in QR code generator, and I believe most, probably Androids, have built-in, QR code readers, it just makes it so easy now. So that is something I could have done in addition to the texting thing. As a matter of fact, I could have combined the two because with our software that we use for lead generation, there's actually a way for the QR code to initiate the text message. I've seen a buddy of mine do this. So I actually could have had people scan the QR code and it would have initiated the text message. It would have bounced them over to their messages app, I believe, and then done the part that I was making people do manually, anyways. So that is something I could have done differently. Either way, I reached out to Urban League this morning and I said, number one, great event. Number two, please let me know ASAP when you have another one because, for a 30-minute drive away and getting the number of leads that I got, and I know the business I'm going to close from this, it was a great return. And with all lead sources, I'm sure Amy can attest to this also, with all lead sources, you can in the world of marketing, you're constantly throwing spaghetti against the wall. You're constantly trying all different kinds of marketing, and you're learning what works and what doesn't. And that's how you get really good really fast is by learning what works and what doesn't. So you may try something like this thing for me this weekend was a big experiment. I had no idea if it would work, but $125 is to me, it's not a big deal for marketing. You know what? I have proven that it was a very good investment, and the next time I see the Urban League put on an event like this again, I will be all over that. Now they had some expanded packages. You get a table for $125, and there were some other things you could get like branding on the flyers and branding on this. I wouldn't get that stuff. My best my best marketing is getting me, either getting me on Zoom one on one for me to explain what we do and how we do it, or obviously at a trade show. That works out very well. So I will definitely be doing that in the future. But I emailed them. I said, let me know when another booth comes available, and let me know when the other events are. And I also invited them to my Zoom webinar. So from Saturday, all I've been doing now is texting the people um, that have reached out to me. That same number, that keeps coming across the screen. That's my same business number. I've gotten some responses. I've gotten some people that are a little bit more interested that I'm gonna set up conversations with, and that same software can also schedule appointments. So for those people that are going to want more information about what we do, I can actually send them my scheduling link, which is like stopdoingnothing.com/talk. And that sends them to a scheduling page for those of you who use Calendly and stuff like that. That sends them to a scheduling page where they can book an appointment. And you know what? Since they're already inside my system, and I got their phone number from Saturday. Since they're already inside my system, when they fill out that form, um, they will basically be updating their existing contact record. And I already know that that appointment that they'll set up from that came from the Metro Tech event on the 24th of August. So, in other words, um, there are some. Hopefully, you got some tips here from the cool things I talked about that you could do to at trade shows. But the biggest one I want you to walk away from out of all these here, probably two. Let's do two. Number one, if if you're at a trade show of some sort, please get in front of your table. It's got wear good shoes. You know what? Don't worry about wearing fancy shoes. Ladies, feel free to wear heels or not. That's up to you. I wore, what did I wear? I wore like some Docker type shoes with really thick heels. I've made the mistake of, matter of fact, the trade show I was talking about, I did in Dallas. Initially, I think we didn't even have carpet there, and I paid extra for carpet because when you're going to be walking on like a hard cement floor all day long, it's just going to kill your knees, as Kevin pointed out when he joined us earlier in the chat there. Where was I going? Oh, yeah, get in front of your table. Be personable. You know what? If you're nervous about it, trust me, they're just as nervous as you. And they're going to be even more nervous because this trade show, I don't know what you call it, but when you walk down like trade show row, like everyone's trying to get a piece of you. So if you're personable and you're like, hey, we do this, you want to know some more information? And they say no, you let them move on and you give them something free. But just make that conversation very easy to open up and make your call to action, very easy also. Here, this is you know what? You can join our free webinar right here. Just text in this number. If that's all you do, that's all you do. Have a good day, kind of thing. Okay? That person may need what you're selling, but they may not do very good with like one-on-one interpersonal reactions. So maybe they get on your email list. Maybe you nurture them through some stuff. Maybe you talk to them at noon on a webinar on Tuesday the 27th. But just make it very easy to get in your world and be very personal. And for the love of all that is holy, please get from behind your table, okay? Shake hands, kiss babies. Even people that may have come up and talked to me, or people that were just doing some general information if they had kids with them, because there were a lot of kids at this event. I made sure I got their kids involved and engaged. I gave them some candy because I'm a horrible parent, or I gave them some of our bracelets, okay? So now they're walking around with bracelets on it that say Stop Doing Nothing on there. StopDoingNothing.com is my main brand website. And then I recently renamed my agency to Stop Doing Nothing Media because it just seems like a very good theme for everything I do these days. And so I was pretty excited about that. But I had a good time Saturday. I was exhausted Saturday and part of Sunday, but I have no problem believing I will get a definite ROI out of the $125 I spent on business. So if you are from the Urban League watching this show, thank you very much for putting on that event. I really do appreciate it. And if you have a chance to do a local trade show at a sub $500 point, and you have a really good product, please check it out. If you have not shared the live show, please do me a favor and do that. I forgot to talk about that. That's on the screen right now. Help us out. Just some social currency. Share the live show. Really trying to get the YouTube subscribers up. Go over and subscribe on YouTube. We are just short of 1,200 subscribers. On our way to 2,000. On our way to 10,000. Yada, 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 yada. So every subscribe and share you do really does help me out. I'm not above begging. And also text SHOW to 405-217-4752. Really cool tech thing, and then we'll wrap this up. I'm actually going to I'm working on when people text in to that number, seeing if I can get something to pop up on screen. Like it wouldn't it be cool? Like if you texted in, hey Patrick, like the hey Patrick popped up the balloons on screen, or if someone texted in, I had a great day, like you guys could trigger that. I could put like part of your phone number on the screen or like your name. And so you guys could trigger it when you text it in. I'm going to geek out on this stuff this week and try to figure out how I can make that happen based on based on you texting in. Or if you text in, Patrick, I loved your show. All of a sudden that triggers hearts floating up on screen. I'm really going to geek out on this stuff this week. But for those of you that hung around with me, it actually looks like we had a decent viewership. Amy, thank you for your examples. Kevin, I think you probably dropped off, but brother, if you haven't, it'd be good to see you sometime soon. And if Brian and Jerry Garcia, that Jerry Garcia, I wish. If you two are still watching, thank you for jumping in very early in the show and engaging. Like I said, that was pretty exciting, and that means a lot to me that you were already engaging in the chat before the show ever started. That is the first time that's happened. You know the deal. Get this on your calendar. Wednesday, 9 a.m., later this week. Change your light color. Which one? Brian, which one do you want me to change? The one in front of me is white. The one behind me is rotating when they text. Oh, yes. Thank you, Brian. Didn't even think about that. Yes, the software I'm looking at will do that. Brian, thank you. Brother. Oh, thank you. Over in my browser, which you can't see here, I actually have a tool up called, what's this called, which I'm going to look at, called Lumia Stream, which may do that. Good point, Brian. That's something else I may do also. Then I got to be careful with people just getting wild with my colors and me having some like a psychedelic trip behind me with people changing the colors. But yes, Brian, Very good idea. Also, change your color when they text. Yeah, that is on. That is something I'm gonna see if I can do also. But you guys, please go out there. Have a great Monday. Have a great Tuesday. I will see you back here Wednesday at 9 a.m. Central. It's time to get some protein. Please get some protein in your body. It is the essential of muscle building. Please find a way to work out this week. It's just going to keep you healthy mentally and physically. And please hydrate, okay? I want to see your bright, shiny faces back here Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. Have a great day. And as always, thank you very much, for watching the show. And we are going to, I think we're just going to call it a day here. Take care.